Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mr. Flipwagon YouTube channel. I'm Mr. Flipwagon, but you can call me Mel. And today we are going to do something a little bit different once again. We are doing an Easter egg video, but this Easter egg video is going to feature the Decade Dock port that was released with this update, with the whole World of Warships 10th anniversary thing. And why I'm doing a Easter egg video in this port is because, there are a lot of Easter eggs in this port, and they actually touch upon this game's history. Of course, there are some ship Easter eggs in the background here. If we take a look outside, we can see a lot of ships, and I'm not going to be touching upon those today, partly because, this video would become very long. But even if I did inspect or find all the Easter eggs that are over here, I unfortunately don't know how to move the camera or free move the camera, so I couldn't actually zoom in and give you guys a closer look at all the ships that are here. So yeah, both a technical and a practical problem in regards to that. So I will be remaining inside this area for this video. I also want to mention that I am not reading from a script this video, so I apologize if I sound a bit, mumbly, or if the words don't come out of my mouth like I want to, like that, if it takes some time to actually convey what I'm trying to say. And also, since I'm not working with a script, I may go on rambling tangents here and there, and this video may become extremely long, so I also apologize for that. But I'll try my best with what I have. So, anyway, I think that's all of the practical things out of the way. So let's just jump into it and take a look at this port. We'll start off. Let's go in this corner. First of all, we can take a look at this. This is a flag. We can press it, it's pulled down, and then it gets hoisted up in the background. This is the King of the Sea flag. I don't remember how people obtained it. I think you need to be like a champion in King of the Seas, or you need to win King of the Seas to get that flag rewarded to your account. I don't remember if you get to keep it permanently, or if only the current champions get to actually rep that flag, but that is the King of the Sea flag. It's pretty rare. You don't see people running it every day. This toy boat here is actually a reference to the April Fool's event from 2016 in World of Warships. And it's kind of difficult to find gameplay from this event because the game was still incredibly new. There were few people playing and making World of Warships content. I'll try to see if I can find gameplay videos and, maybe put them in the background, or if nothing else, I'll at least try to link them below, or put up a screenshot featuring some video that I can recommend for you guys to watch if you want a better understanding of, what happened during these events, or how these game modes go. What was funny with this April Fool's operation, or April Fool's event, it wasn't an operation, it was PvP, but it doesn't really seem like anyone knew that this that this April Fool's game mode would come. These ships were just added to people's ports on the 1st of April, and people got to play with them. There was also a map. I think the map was called Ruinberg in Jacuzzi, maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong. Which is a reference to World of Tanks with the Ruinberg map in World of Tanks, but I digress. And it was just PvP featuring toy boats, and that was honestly pretty fun. I don't think there were any insane gimmicks in that game mode. It was mostly people shooting each other. Just an unexpected surprise game mode that we don't honestly see surprises like this in World of Warships nowadays, because everything goes through PTS, so we know or we get a heads up for events like 2 or 3 months in advance. But this came out of nowhere. I think out of nowhere and out of nowhere. I think there was like a bad advice video that was kind of teasing this, that was released in late March, but besides that, no one had a clue, or it doesn't seem like anyone had a clue that Wargaming were pushing out this little event or game mode. If we take a look in the corner, we see this statue of a man, or a sailor, I guess, and I believe this is a reference to the Soviet battleships trailer. The Wargaming made a cinematic trailer for the Soviet battleships, featuring this guy as one of the characters, if not the character. It was, I think, one of the prettiest cinematic trailers. It had a very interesting and unique kind of like drawn style, very reminiscent to like Navy propaganda poster style. So that's a pretty cool, that's a nice callback. Then we have this seagull in the corner, and I believe this is a reference to the Bad Advice YouTube series featuring the Bad Advice captain and the goldfish. I think this may be even a reference to a specific video. I don't remember the video exactly, but I'm pretty sure there was one video where they made like a techno remix featuring like ship horn sounds and seagull squawks. Oh wait, I can click this ship. Oh, okay, that's literally the techno. Yeah, that's definitely from the techno remix video. So the seagull reference is that techno remix video featuring the Bad Advice captain. I'll again feel free to watch that. It's up on YouTube if if you want to take a look at that. Then we have a cat. I don't know if it's a specific reference to anything. And here, Trouble in the Hot Tub. This is actually pretty fun because it's almost like a callback to the toy boats or the toy ships game mode, whatever it's called. I don't remember. But the Trouble in the Hot Tub featuring these toy ducks was the 2023 April Fool's game mode. I think it was 2023. And in this game mode, you got to play as little toy rubber ducks. And all of these rubber ducks were inspired by some kind of pop culture. I believe we had like a duck inspired by Rambo or by Chuck Norris, or I think Zorro even. And what was actually pretty interesting is that through this event, we actually got our first concept 3D, or what is it, animated commanders. I believe the duck commanders were animated in port. And I believe Wargaming wanted to make like animated commanders standard, but they never moved forward with that. I don't know why. We still don't have animated commanders, but this event brought forward animated commanders as a concept, and that was pretty fun. And the game mode was also set in a jacuzzi, in a jacuzzi. I'm pretty sure the map was a bit different. It wasn't the same map as the one from the toy boat game mode, but I think it was definitely inspired, or it was definitely paying a homage to it, so to speak. I think that's everything here. Here are some pictures as well. I think that maybe the grows occur first. And I'm not sure what this is. That's a bridge of some ship. There's an ant walking around here. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. Oh, interesting. I'm trying to listen closely. I don't know if you guys can hear, but this radio is playing music. I'm pretty sure this music may be from some ports, from some OST. Is this playing music? To be honest, I'm not sure if I recognize these songs. I may have to go back later to take a closer listen to figure out if I recognize any. I'll put up text on the screen if I come to any conclusions, but I don't remember ever hearing those. Let's continue though. Let's move to the right side. We have this little desk, and it features a lot of ships in these glass vitrines or glass shelves, I guess, or wooden shelves, but I digress. On the right side, we have a lot of the oldest ships in game. I believe we have the Khabarovsk, the Des Moines, Yamato, Iowa. I believe that may be Tirpitz or Bismarck, and that may be Shimakaze. And on the left side, we have a lot of the newest, a lot of the most gimmicky ships like Hanover. This is U-2501, I think. Few moments later. Nice. Gluten Glue, the Kitakami. Love the torpedo spam, and the Alberico da Barbiano. I'm not sure what that is. I think that may be... Could this be a Nevny? That kind of looks like Nevny. Although I could be wrong. I'm not sure what it's doing there. Nevny is not a new ship. It's very old. But I believe that having the right and the left shelves kind of shows that where we started from and where we have come. Super ships and submarines aren't great. Not particularly proud of those, but it's nice that we at least have Kitakami back in the game. So I digress. Interesting. These are cards. I think that card specifically may be a reference to the Dunkirk special card game thing. I dropped it. Well, I think it may be a reference to that. It came out... Was it this year? It was either this year or last year, during the spring. No, I'm pretty sure it was this year. It was actually pretty fun card game. I actually enjoyed it. But in short, that was a pretty nice game mode. Next we have these flags. I believe this is I think this is Alpha, the Alpha tester flag. The closed beta test flag? And then I'm not sure what the flag behind is. Is that like blue-black? I think that might be the super test flag? I'm not 100% certain. I don't know the flags off the top of my head, but these are the tester flags for people that participated in the very early testing of this game. Here we have Captain Bad Advice. Love him. In this corner we have a picture of Isoroku Yamamoto, which I believe he was the first special commander in this game. I think he was introduced in 2017 with the Isoroku Yamamoto collection, which is pretty nice. Damn, it was a long time ago he was introduced. That's actually kind of crazy. Here's a poster from the longest night of the museums. Oh, and these actually lit up. That's actually quite nice. The Shark and the Eagle. These are a reference to the Sharks versus Eagles event, or I think it was called Go Navy or something like that. I think this was back in 2018. This event coincided with the Worcester event, or the American Cruiser split. And basically players got to pick sides, either Sharks or Eagles. and by completing daily rewards, they could get tokens and they could progress their team's progress in this event. Don't ask me which team won because I personally don't remember. This is actually interesting. This is a reference to the pinup in the Navy promotional video, music video. It was honestly one of the most high production value videos that Wargaming has put out. It's an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure that there was even an event that Wargaming was trying to get as many views on this video as possible as a part of this promotional campaign, I guess. But that video and that, music video was honestly a masterpiece, I'd say. Absolute cinema when it comes to like World of Warships media. Yeah. And I think this is King of the Sea poster, either King of the Sea or some other competitive event that has been arranged in World of Warships. Okay, before going to this desk, because here's a lot of Easter eggs, or at least in the book there's a lot of Easter eggs, but we'll take some time to look at the entire picture or the entire port. We have these blimps over here, the two airships floating around. I guess we have a third airship there as well. But these two, I believe, are a reference to the Dirigible Derby event. Or I guess it's more commonly known as Airship Escort, but back when it was introduced in 2022, I think, it was called Dirigible Derby. I personally like that name more because I think it's very fun to say. But honestly, very fun game mode. Didn't they? I'm pretty sure they added Dirigible Derby to randoms at one point, and then Wargaming removed them because players didn't like it. I don't know why players didn't like it. I personally think that it was some of the most fun having that game mode in randoms. But, you know, this player base can be a bit questionable sometimes. But yeah, fun callback to a fun game mode. Speaking of game modes, we have this Pinata, and it is a reference to the Pinata Hunt game mode, which was, I think, released last year. It was 2024's April Fool's game mode. I believe it was the first special event after the Lesta split, if you discount the Saving Transylvania operation, which was, it was technically made when Lesta and Wargaming were still one, but I think that the Pinata Hunt was the first actually fully original special event that Wargaming had made after the split. But basically, I think most of you guys remember this event. PvP, 2 teams, a Pinata ship is sailing down the middle and, you know, teams get to shoot it, try to get the kill on the Pinata, and yeah, that was an interesting event. This China dragon, or just Chinese dragon, it spawns the Eastern dragon. I believe it's a reference to either the dragon port with the dragon, or just the Kure port, because in the Kure port you actually can see a dragon flying around, and I think that this is probably a reference to that. Next up we have these pictures and this little the skull, the metal skull, and this is a reference to the Rogue Wave event. It was released in 2019 for the first time, I think. This game mode was absolutely fantastic. It was Wargaming's first attempt at making something Fortnite-esque or implementing a battle royale-like game mode into the game. The aesthetics and the game mode were very, I think, inspired by the Waterworld film, but also there's, you know, a lot of rusty ships, a lot of scrap metal, just a very cool aesthetic. I believe this game mode also introduced ships like the Hill or the Benham. I think you could even like grind to get the Benham for free, even though that grind was really steep and I personally didn't get it. But I think that game mode was generally regarded to be one of the best game modes that wargaming has ever added to this game, or at least in terms of like special game modes. It was so cool. I hope they really bring back that game mode one day. I would honestly love to see it again. Then we have this scroll featuring this samurai-esque symbol. I don't know if this references anything specific. I'm pretty sure this might be a callback to the Japanese battle cruisers. I think that the Japanese battle cruisers commemorative flag does have this same exact symbol, so it's probably a reference to that. Then we have these planes. Interesting. So there's if you can't hear, it sounds like they're like firing their guns, and this may be a bit of a stretch on my part, but I almost wanna say that these aircraft may be referencing RTS carriers, at least the fighter aspect of RTS carriers, because back during way back in my day, during the RTS carrier era, fighters were actually their own controllable squadron type, and you could basically ask your fighter squadron to attack an enemy carrier's fighter squadron, and when they would kind of like go and fly, basically like dogfight like this, like you see on the screen. I don't remember, or I don't know if we get to see the same visuals anymore with the new carrier update, but this is very reminiscent to like the dogfighting that your fighters could do back during the RTS era. And we have these planets here, this spinny. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but that definitely confirmed my suspicion. These planets are a reference to the World of Spaceships events, or I don't remember their exact names. I remember that back in 2015, I think that was the first ever April Fool's game mode that World of Warships got, was World of Spaceships. I think it was back in 2015. It was just like playing Gearing or Des Moines or Yamato in a space setting. I don't think there were that many gimmicks, but the World of Spaceships as a concept was then brought back in the 2018 April Fool's game mode, and in that game mode there was a lot more nuance and a lot more layers to the gameplay and the event. I think there were like 3 or 4 different game modes during the later World of Spaceships event. One of them was Torpedo Beat, which did have this exact same song that is playing, or that plays, if you press the planets, which is that's a fun callback. That's so cool. And another very interesting game mode that World of Spaceships, or at least the 2018 version, brought was the game mode Space Assault. I don't remember how exactly it went, but basically PvP 2 teams, but one team had to protect a space station that existed on one of the maps, and the other team had to attack it. I don't remember if Wargaming has done any other assault-like game modes, but I would honestly love to try playing something similar to that. I have very little memory of the Space Assault game mode, and there is actually not that much footage featuring the Space Assault game mode or any gameplay of it, so it would be something I would love to experience in today's World of Warships or in some other event. I guess people may not have liked it because, I mean, wargaming haven't brought it, or haven't brought the concept back in any way, shape, or form today, which is kind of sad. Let's take a look at the main desk. We have a fan that spins around. I don't know if it's a particular reference to anything. We have coal container. This dolphin statue is probably a reference to the new updated underwater world. Back when they added, you know, marine life that you could see underwater or even above water, like dolphins can jump out of the water near your ship at the start of the game, and that's quite fun. Here we have some achievements. Pretty cool. I don't know if there's any direct Easter eggs when it comes to these. These are just achievements. I honestly don't know what this is supposed to be. I think this is naval fortification of some kind, but I can't really pin exactly what fortification this is, or if it's a reference to anything specific. And I don't know about Liberty Harbor. I guess this may be a reference to like dockyards or like building your own ships with these kind of looking like model kits and building a ship in a harbor. Certificate of Appreciation. This is once again, I think, another reference to the Sharks versus Eagles event. Hi everyone, Editing Mel here. I wanted to make a quick correction. Certificate of Appreciation is not a Sharks versus Eagles thing. The symbol that we actually see is a symbol for the CST program, or I think it's the Clan Special Test program, which basically is similar to like a closed beta test, except that it's a program where players in special clans get to communicate directly with Wargaming and give input into the game. I don't know if it's still a thing or if Wargaming has gotten rid of the thing, but I at least know that in the past Wargaming has had that program. So yeah, small correction. I guess this is to show appreciation for the people or the players that have helped Wargaming to, I guess, improve or give suggestions to this game. And oh, this is actually quite fun. Rock, paper, scissors. This is a reference to like basically the core dynamic of cruisers, battleships, and destroyers in this game. Basically, during the game's conception, there was this idea that the three classes would work in a rock, paper, scissors kind of like format, where battleships would kill cruisers, cruisers would kill destroyers, and destroyers would go around and kill battleships, or that kind of being the dynamic. And here we have a paper airplane. I guess this is supposed to represent carriers, because, I mean, unfortunately, carriers haven't really been implemented into this rock, paper, scissors dynamic in a proper way ever, honestly, even in RTS CV days, you know. Here we have some blueprints. I wonder if, I mean, this is, I think, a flint. Either a flint or Atlanta. I guess it could be a reference to the Atlanta. I think Atlanta is one of the oldest premium ships in this game. Maybe a reference to that, or may just be a fun little detail. And back behind it, there's another blueprint. Could be a detail, but it could also be a reference to, I think the ZF6 dockyard had you draw blueprints before you actually built the ship. So it may be a reference to dockyards or building ships. Or just detail. I may be reading too much into that. Yeah. But let's take a look at this book, because there are a lot of juicy Easter eggs in this book. This is back when World of Warships was conceived. I think World of Warships was originally supposed to be named World of Battleships, But they quickly changed it to World of Warships because warships is obviously a better umbrella term for, ships with guns that go pew pew during war than battleship. And I guess promotional art for this game. I understand is a reference. I think it's a reference to the accepting of the EULA terms of service thing. That is, of course, the first thing that we do when we install World of Warships is to accept the terms of service. That is the first button we press, and that is what unlocks this game for us. So we've all had to press the I understand button whenever we started our World of Warships career. So, we start off in 2015. This compass, I believe, I believe this is a symbol of the introductory mission. Back then, we had the introductory mission, ranked co-op, and randoms as the only game modes. We of course had the different testing phases, alpha test, closed beta test, open beta test, and the limited amount of ships that were in this game. We had Iowa as an example, Nievny, Tirpitz, the first German battleship premium. I didn't know it was released in 2015, but it actually makes sense. And the Bliskovica was also released in 2015, I think with or through a collaboration with the Bliskovica Museum in Poland. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, did World of Warships originally have 468,000 players on launch? That's possible. To be honest, I don't have the numbers on me. Then we move on to 2017. We get the original Hot Tub April Fool's game mode. The British light cruisers were released along with the Armor Inspector. The French and Pan-Asian tech trees were introduced. No, not tech trees. Premiums or nations. Nations were introduced that featured premiums. I believe the French nation's first premium was Dunkirk, maybe? And Pan-Asia got, I think, Lo Yang. The anime girl here, I think I401, is a reference to the arpeggio of Blue Steel collab that Wargaming did, or World of Warships did, way in its infancy. I think it was the first anime-related, or it is the first anime-related collaboration that Wargaming ever did. And this was such a cool collaboration because basically all you had to do for this was to complete missions and you could get these arpeggio ships for free. That was it. Of course, these arpeggio ships didn't work like premium ships. They didn't have premium economy, but it was still really nice and generous of Wargaming to actually allow players to grind and get these ships just on their own. And one of my first ships, or quote-unquote premium ships, or special ships that I got was the Haruna, and it was from this game mode. Not game mode, but these missions. It was really nice. I look back at these times with fond memories. Damage dealt from fort is a reference to the Bastion mode that was released in, I guess, 2016 as well. Basically, it worked like the Domination game mode with the 3 caps, but there were fortifications next to these caps along with surveillance stations. I don't remember how this game mode went exactly, or how this game mode worked, but I'm pretty sure that if you capped a cap, you would basically control the fort at the same time, and the fort would defend your cap. And then the enemy team, if they wanted to contest the cap, they would have to kill the surveillance station that was spotting for the fort. And then when they had destroyed the surveillance station, they could cap and secure the capture circle and take over the fort. And this very high damage number is, I believe, a reference to a Euro or a Eurobeat video from back in the day, showing him or them pushing up in a Tsao to a fort and taking an insane amount of damage. I think they lost like 90% of their damage trying to contest the cap or trying to destroy the fort. Unfortunately, the Bastion mode, or fortunately, I guess, it was removed from the randoms game mode. People didn't like it. The forts were extremely strong. I I personally never got to play this game mode because I think it was only for high tiers or tier 8 and above, and I only played low tier. I only had access to low tier back then. But it's honestly a game mode that I would really want to experience. Of course, maybe with nerfed forts, but I think that this would be a very interesting game mode to try out in today's World of Warships. During this year, I guess a lot of campaigns were also introduced. I believe, is this the Honorable Service? I think this might be the Honorable Service campaign, and this is the Science for Victory campaign. They look different in today's game because they did update the icon art, so they look different, but these are the original icons for those campaigns that you can still complete today. And these two campaigns, I don't think you can complete anymore. This, I think, was the Hunt for Graf Spee. You got access to Graf Spee through it. And this was a Christmas-related campaign. Was it like Santa's Convoys or Santa's Secret Convoys? I don't remember. Santa's Christmas Convoys? Something like that. But yeah, this year was also the birth of the campaign, which was pretty nice, pretty cool to see. This year also brought the container barge and containers to the game. Originally, basically just like, you know, more resources, more camouflages, more credits containers. I think Try Your Luck may have been existed in as well back then. But yeah, those were the only containers you could get. Until Wargaming started, of course, introducing special monetizable containers. Here we see the Moskva, and behind it is the Des Moines, and we have a radar icon here because during 2016 the radar was introduced with, I believe, the Moskva. And yes, that means that the Des Moines actually did not have a radar previously. I think it could only slot fighters or spotter plane. So, you know, it comforts me knowing that there was a time in World of Warships early history where people actually played spotter plane Des Moines and they wouldn't get shunned for it, it's pretty funny, and you know, it brings a smile to my face. And last but not least, this icon is the first operation ever introduced. This is the Saving Transylvania Halloween game mode. My favorite part in the entire game is encapsulated in this one game mode and the lore it brought with it. I have an irrational affection to the lore and the worlds that Wargaming created, starting off with this game mode. I hold irrational sentimentality to it, and I will probably make a video talking about it again, but you could probably figure that out if you have watched my older videos. I made a video featuring the Halloween game modes, my biggest video from that time, and, you know, it hopefully conveys the love I have for the game mode and for the stories it brought with it. Now we move on to the next year. Let me just take a sip of water. This is 2017. The Italian nation is introduced. I think the first Italian ship in this game was Duca d'Aosta. Steam compatibility is launched. As I mentioned earlier, Isoroku Yamamoto along with his collection was added. The Hunt for Bismarck event was added, featuring or including the Hunt for Bismarck collection along with collections as a concept was added. Which was actually really fun. It was a great event that Wargaming added. Fun fact is that I actually managed to get the Bismarck through this event. The Bismarck was the final reward. And, well, basically, I got the Bismarck through this event. And I never had to play or touch the earlier German battleships like the Kaiser, König, Bayern, or Gneisenau, because I just got the Bismarck from this, and you got this nice camo, which is also absolutely sick. Absolute cinema. Very nice. This chap, along with this submarine, is a reference to the April Fool's prank that Wargaming pulled in 2017. The prank was literally putting a submarine in everyone's ports and making it unplayable. There was no other special event or operation or anything regarding April Fools. It was just that. It was extremely disappointing. And I think it was also funny because Wargaming back in this time were like, oh, we're never gonna add submarines because they would, like, there's no way we could actually balance submarines. Like, are you insane?
No submarines in the game. Believe me, we looked at it. It just doesn't fit with the gameplay.
It seems Wargaming and World of Warships knew itself better back then than they do now. The Pan-Asian destroyers were introduced, featuring deep water torpedoes, and operations as a whole, as a separate game mode, were introduced. Honestly, I think one of the best additions of this year. Loved operations. King of the Sea was introduced, and clans along with clan battles debuted also during 2017. Same with French cruisers, the Henri IV line. Next we move on to 2018. This year debuts or features the debut of the Snowflake, and the Snowflakes during its first year managed to give you coal or steel for the armory, which was I think the armory may have been introduced during this same year. I don't remember 100% for certain. This also debuted the Black Friday ships, or the entire Black Friday phenomenon as we know it in World of Warships. It also introduced the Arms Race game mode. It was a separate game mode until they decided to bring it into random battles, which honestly I think is very nice. Actually quite like Arms Race. This year also introduced the Pan-American nation, featuring or starring Nueve de Julio, I think was the first Pan-American ship. And then, as I mentioned before, Eagles versus Sharks and the pin-up promotional video also were part of this year. And here we see the Halloween 2018 event, Terror of the Deep, featuring the first ever playable submarines. This event was honestly, featured submarines in their best state, or at least in their most fun state, and literally all other iterations of submarines have been garbage compared to what they introduced, or what Wargaming introduced with this game mode. Of course, you couldn't just you couldn't take these submarines and put them into random battles, but I think submarines as a gimmick in a special game mode or something like that would have been fun on its own. Adding them to randoms was a bit of a mistake. But still, I personally also loved this event because it built upon the Halloween game modes and stories that were introduced in 2016 and 2017. But yeah, Terror of the Deep. Wonderful, just a wonderful game mode, wonderful event. We only got to play it this one year, which sucks. And I don't know why Wargaming never brought it back, but it's such a shame that we never got to experience it again after that year. Graf Zeppelin made its debut along with the massive controversy that followed it, with Wargaming nerfing it on release, or right before release, making people think, or making people buy it and then realizing that, no, Wargaming nerfed it. It was a fiasco, it was a debacle, it was not the brightest chapter in Wargaming's history. I wonder if that was the first ever Wargaming or World of Warships controversy that we got in this game. I think this may be Wargaming's first controversy. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but could be. And we also, of course, got British destroyers. 2019 was, well, we see the planes. It was indeed the year of the CV rework. We also got community tokens. Not community tokens, research bureau tokens, and I believe the first ship you could get with these was like Colbert. So that's interesting. We got the designer's table port, which is nice. The background, you can see this the spaceport, I think, as well, which is a reference to, you know, Wall of Spaceships that we talked about earlier. I'm not sure why Bliskavica is here, to be honest. I'm not sure what it's a reference to. I don't remember if they did like a graphics update, graphics improvement or something like that, but I'm not sure what it refers to. Italian cruisers, the Venezia line was introduced along with their gimmick, semi-armor piercing rounds. As we discussed before, the Rogue Wave event was introduced, genuine peak, and ending of the year was the Puerto Rico dockyard, which was Wargaming's second big controversy, and an absolute shitstorm that followed. Kinda yikes, I'm actually surprised that Wargaming decided to mention the Puerto Rico dockyard in this, considering how big of a yikes the entire thing was during that time. 2020, I think. We have the Holland line, Pan-European destroyers, along with the, Fjordsport? We have the Bad Advice video. I think this is a reference to the Bad Advice collection. Wargaming did make Bad Advice videos way before 2020. So I think this is a reference to the Bad Advice Captain collection that was released in 2020. My man, Paolo Emilio, was introduced in 2020, and Wargaming unfortunately added the legendary modules to the armory for Research Bureau points. Before this, the legendary mods were actually available through missions. Yes, players could complete missions in their favorite tier 10s to earn these legendary mods for their tier 10s. And unfortunately, after this change, they moved them to the Research Bureau, and it became a lot more tedious to grind them out to get these legendary modules. Not the best change. And here we have a community token, so I guess the community tab was added back in 2020 as well. Thunderer and Petropavlovsk were added. I don't know why Wargaming decided to point it out. They were not the most fun ships to play against back during this time. Both were absolutely busted. Definitely not the high point of this year, unless you were a player that liked to have an unfair advantage against the enemy team in battle. 2021 brought the Gluten Glue line, or Dutch cruisers. We have the first Longest Night of the Museums collaboration. The Convoy game mode made its debut. We got the Commander skill rework. I'm not sure what's going on behind here. I think, could that be a reference to, what is it called? Like the Journey to the West, or the Lunar New Year events? I'm not 100% sure. We got the Battle of the Beasts, which worked very similarly to the Sharks versus Eagles event, with people being able to pick or choose between 4 different teams, these teams being based on different Norse or different Germanic mythological creatures or beasts. It was another pretty fun rendition of the Sharks versus Eagles event. We got the Schlieffen line, which is beloved by secondary enthusiasts, and we got our first hybrid, which was the Ise. And 2022, I don't know. I may, dare I say that 2022 may have been the worst year of for World of Warships, because this year introduced super ships, and I don't remember if they introduced super ships to random games in 2022, but they introduced super ships, which in any case would be a bad omen for what was to come, because super ships are generally not the most healthy thing for tier 10 or for this game. Yeah, just not a good addition. And speaking of not good additions, submarines were added to the random game, to the base game, in a pretty poor state. No one liked them at this point. No one still does, but they were broken. They still needed a lot of work, and Wargaming just decided that they had put in too much energy, too many resources, and that they just needed to move on. So they decided to unleash this half-ready product into the seas of World of Warships, and they've been a scourge to the game ever since. We also got our first battle pass. We got the Spanish Nation, featuring the Canarias. I think Canarias was the first Spanish ship. I think you could obtain it for free in an event. We got asymmetric battles. We got Malta, which is also absolutely horrible CV to play against. The Jinan line, Pan-Asian cruisers. And back here we see, what is it? Economic bonus packet, or a bonus. Yeah, I think it's an economic bonus packet, which symbolizes the fact that we got the economic rework this year as well, which is also debated on how good it was for the game or how bad it was, but I digress. Next up is 2022. We got the return of the Kitakami this year. We talked about this before, but the Trouble in the Hot Tub game mode featuring the rubber ducks, the first premium submarine, I believe the Gato, the Kure port, and the Japanese battle cruisers, I believe, came along at the same time. I'm not sure what this image is supposed to be with the guy sitting next to the pigeon. This may be from, I think this may be a dockyard. You maybe got to see these two in the background of a specific dockyard during this year, but I can't tell you exactly for certain which dockyard this was from. 2024 brought us the Wisconsin, one of the most popular dockyard ships, and honestly quite a symbol for the meta today, with just sniper battleships just kind of shooting each other from 10 billion kilometers away. Just the most meta ship of its time until the Libertard came out, but I digress. It wasn't fun playing around when this ship was still new, because a lot of players had it. It was extremely popular, and it's a strong ship. Detonations were removed, which was actually quite a nice change. We got unique destruction effects, which is, I think unique destruction effects are actually quite nice, and I appreciate Wargaming adding more of those to this game. We also got our first classified documents, or the first taste of those in their special game modes. We got the Pinata Party, April Fool's event, which we talked about earlier. During 2024, the Enterprise was actually released. I think you could actually purchase it directly during, was it like a 4th of July event? It was the same event as the USS Tennessee was released through. I don't remember when they did that, but you could actually buy the USS Enterprise, and the USS Enterprise, for those who don't know, although I'd be surprised if you don't know, it hasn't been available for direct purchase in many, many years, because it was regarded as overpowered, because it was. And that was an opportunity to actually get your hands on that ship if you were a collector. Then we have these two, which starred in the Battle Pass, the Christmas Battle Pass of 2024. There's nothing much to comment on this. This image below, I think this may be the Star Trek port. And that's of course a reference to the fact that we had the Star Trek collaboration with the new special game mode last year, which was actually pretty fun, and also an event that Wargaming seems to have put a surprising amount of effort into. So that was actually quite pleasant, quite nice. What wasn't as pleasant though was that Wargaming kind of shorted out or decided to cut corners with the voice lines for the Star Trek commanders. So they're unfortunately not that appealing. You know, it was a new game mode, it was something unique, and, you know, fair enough. And finally, 2025, and we have Liberty Harbor here. I'm again not sure what this is supposed to reference. Maybe this is like a work in progress indicator. We have the Oh yeah, so okay, the Operation Dynamo card game was released in 2025. Seen by this, again, actually quite a fun little game mode. Even though it doesn't, you know, feature any of the core mechanics of World of Warships, it's a nice break from the main game. Here we had more classified documents. We had classified documents in operations that people could play and goof around with. And here we have the Burrows with its unique smoke mechanic, and finally the GQ Johnny that you can get for free if you play, what was it, 5 battles through the course of 90 days, or a bit longer if you play less battles per day. Yeah, wow. I think that's it. I think I've taken up and discussed all the Easter eggs that I personally found, or that I could sleuth out. If you manage to find anything though that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll pin your message. And yeah, this was just nice, just looking through memory lane at all the Easter eggs and the history of this game. The high points, or the highlights, and well, the low points as well. But well, let's hope that Wargaming decide to learn from their mistakes and maybe work on making this game better instead of, I don't know, monetizing it to shit or something like that. I thank you for watching this entire video through. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, share it if you found it nice and interesting. And yeah, I will see you next time, hopefully with the next World of Warships Easter egg video. Yeah. Thanks for watching. May Saint Anhalt bless your RNG, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.